Some people have a creative calling, something that comes from within. A calling to sing, a calling to paint, a calling to draw. On this episode of The Arts Page, you'll meet 4 artists, each with a unique artistic gift. Singer Siobhan Monique shares how she's storytelling across generations with her ancestral funk. Meet a muralist who sees shapes and expresses himself in black and white. While this artist is all about color in her creative portraits. And these colorful paintings are created by a soulful self-taught artist who's actually colorblind. All of these artists coming to you right now on The Arts Page. Welcome to The Arts Page. I'm Sandy Max. February is Black History Month, an annual time to spotlight and embrace the triumphs and contributions of African Americans. In this episode of The Arts Page, we feature 4 Black artists who are succeeding and thriving in their respective art forms. First, meet Siobhan Monique, an ancestral funk artist. You might be thinking to yourself right now, what is ancestral funk? Well, Siobhan Monique describes it as music that connects with people that came before you. We visit Florida to find out more about ancestral funk and how Siobhan Monique is compelled to use her voice to speak and sing for enlightenment, unity, and love.
I am Siobhan Monique. I am a conduit for my ancestors and the daughter of St. Petersburg, Florida. I am here to fulfill my purpose, walk in my destiny, but more importantly, I am here to let my light shine. My very first performance, I was 3 years old. I was selected to perform in front of the church.
She got on stage in front of an entire packed church for a Christmas play. She grabbed the microphone and just ad-libbed her entire part and just brought the church down. So we were like, oh, okay, well, this is what she wants to do.
Temptation. That moment was when I connected to my purpose. I didn't choose music. It chose me.
Her personality was an old soul from day one. Her facial expressions had this kind of old soul type of feel to it. She had a very unique, beautiful darkness to her. And I think that's part of this artistry that we see now.
Southern trees bear strange fruit.
I was in awe the first time that I heard her. She was such a demure person, a small person, but this huge voice would come from her, and it was so moving.
I can definitely see her sound and her music being something in the 40s and the 50s and connecting with that. And when you hear her voice, it's like this voice has been here before. This isn't a new voice. This isn't a pop voice. This is a voice that has a story that needs to be told. So she's continuing to tell the story. So it really resonates with all generations.
My Uncle Buster was a very essential part of the jazz era. He played with the Duke Ellington Jazz Band, and now that I look back on it as an adult, I can see the seeds that he planted for me and for my life.
Buster Cooper is my uncle. He is my father's brother. That connection and Siobhan's gift of having that type of ancestral voice and connection to the great jazz legends allowed the two of them to really connect when it came to music.
He would always say, my family calls me Boo, so Boo, never give up. I got a degree in classical voice. I went to New York and I was a leading role in an off-Broadway show. And then he got sick. And I was missing my family at the time, and my mom was like, listen, your uncle, he doesn't have much time left. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pack up my stuff, I'm gonna come home, I already miss my family, I need to see my uncle. On his deathbed, he pulls me to him, and he said, listen, I want you to carry on the family legacy. It's your time. I give you my blessing, and I want you to carry this through. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's, nothing major. And so with him saying that, I embraced and I accepted the calling and what he was passing down to me. And that is what you see before you. Community is important to me because there's strength in numbers. And my community has shaped and molded me into a queen. You have to give back to what has been given important to you.
One thing I can say about St. Pete, especially the south side of St. Pete, we are still a generational city. We know people, we know their father, their grandfather, their great-grandfather. So there's still that generational connection that I think makes it very unique.
It takes a village. It takes a village that believes in you. And in this case, establishing that base. You know you can go home.
She's actually taken on that feel to go to New York, to LA. She always wants to come back to that feeling of family.
If it wasn't for my village, my community, my family, my ancestors who constantly reminded me, no, you are beautiful, you are smart. Your voice ain't too loud, it's not loud enough, girl, sing. Be you. The moment that I decided to do that, all of the beauty. So what I will say to you, little black girl that's watching this right now, you're beautiful. You're more than just a strong black woman. You're magical. Be yourself, love yourself, know thyself. That's where all of this comes from. I'm me.
You can hear more of Siobhan Monique singing when you visit the website ancestralfunk.com. The next artist to introduce you to on this Black History Month episode of the Arts Page is an artist who creates in black and white. Dathan Kane is a contemporary abstract painter based in Virginia who specializes in murals. Some of his most well-known murals are found throughout Hampton Roads, a region on the central East Coast comprising several areas in North Carolina and Virginia. He uses bold, black and white organic shapes to represent life's complexities. He attempts to bring balance to these complexities through artistic expression, believing that the absence of color leads to a bolder statement.
When you think of art, you tend to think of color. But black and white to me represents the basis of this form of expression. What can I do with pencil? What can I do with pen? What can I do with charcoal? It's just something that really speaks to me, and I want to see how I can push that forward. I've always known I wanted to be an artist. I grew up as the only child, so started doing a lot of drawing. It was like a form of entertainment. My folks recognized the hand talent, and they decided to put me in programs to further develop my skills. My love for art began to be something I could not ignore anymore. Virginia State was just a different world. My major was art and design, and my concentration was in illustration. So there was always that constant thread of black and white. Right out of school, I was having a show honoring different dignitaries and men in position throughout Virginia. It was my first major opportunity, and while I was working, I knew that I was done with doing something that wasn't really true to myself. I wanted to just evoke emotion and have people respond to a feeling more so than something that's representative of something else. So I started sketching out shapes in the sketchbook and seeing where that could take me. And been doing it ever since. While creating, I'm in this place of peace. I'm not thinking about anything besides painting. And it allows me to break free from the world for a second. It's therapeutic, it's expressing myself in that way. And I'm able to find this balance of the negative and positive. These shapes translate what I'm going through, but then it's also something that people can form their own relationship with. Their circles representing this continuous thing is something that's like ongoing. Even with reading from left to right, going larger, it represents moving forward in life and not looking back. People see all types of things within the work. Oh, I see a panda or a teacup. Then each time you look at it, you see something different. That's the fun of exploring different shapes. If it does impact your audience, that means you're doing your job as an artist. So it's definitely something on my end that I want to continue with as best as I can with the tools that I have. With working on murals, it's the small areas that make the difference. Muralists have a different mindset. It can be challenging at times, but then that's why we're doing it. I want it to appear flat as possible. You have bolts and curves and different things. So it's the surface telling me what to do. Projects like this, it's extremely important because it's bringing art directly to the public. So having that exposure, something that can encourage or inspire the next artist. What way can I put my work out there and have it be seen over and over and over? Katherine Johnson is my great aunt. She never really spoke on things she accomplished with NASA. After seeing the movie and realizing the impact that she left, okay, how can I honor that legacy? What can I do? I recently completed a mural in downtown Hampton. I titled it Next Door, it being close by to the Air and Space Center. I was like, oh, I have to do this, like I have no choice. I've always wanted to hit different markets so people are able to see you being consistent. At Canvas Coffees, did 2 wall murals and then a full installation of paintings, works on paper, works on canvas, and then also designed one of their bean bags. I have an installation in the Dollar Tree headquarters at Summit Point. There's a total of 6 works that were sold to their collection. And you can see them on display. And I'm also super grateful for all of the work I've been able to accomplish with my peers at the Contemporary Arts Network. The show is titled World of Shapes, really to represent this visual theme park that you can fully be immersed as soon as you step foot into the space. I also look at it as a summary of the mural work that I've been doing for the last couple of years. How can I bring this inside where it can be viewed on the ceiling, on the floor, on the walls, for them to really just be inside of my world. It allows me to see that things are possible. You're able to get into spaces that you may not think that you could. The gift that I have is for people to enjoy, and it's not just for me to hold on to. Thankful for collectors and the different companies want to be a part of that story, so it's something I never take for granted.
See more of Dathan Kane's artwork at his website, dkaneart.com. You can find him on Instagram, too. His handle is _dkane. From black and white abstract art to colorful creations by Cleveland, Ohio artist Darren Fletcher. Her monochromatic portraits drew attention to her on social media during the pandemic as she posted portraits that she illustrated with colored pencils. That recognition launched her into many different fields. Fletcher has designed murals for Cleveland's light rail system, and her art has also been featured in a Hulu series about Billie Holiday. From that success, she has been able to open a studio and offers the space as an outlet to other working artists because she believes in giving back to her community.
Colored pencils are a staple for Darren Fletcher. They have been for years, since picking them up in high school.
I went to Firestone, which is a performing arts school, and I had a really awesome art teacher, Mr. Dolphin, who pushed me and saw the potential in me. And he was actually the first person to give me colored pencils.
In 2020, as the pandemic was just getting started, video of her colored pencil portraits took off on Instagram.
It came about because I could not find brown pencils during the pandemic.
So she turned to greens, blues, and other colors for her drawings. She ended up creating a series of monochromatic portraits, resonating with tens of thousands of viewers on social media.
That's when I was like, oh wow, okay. Yeah, this is happening. Okay, well, let me keep it up. Because I wasn't expecting the reaction. I was just doing what I usually do in creating, and I created the green image. It had to be like maybe a midnight. Took me a couple hours and just kind of experimenting, but I was not expecting it to go the way it did.
Fletcher says she's always been drawn to portraits. While she does commissions of real people, her preference is to use her imagination and create freely.
So I enjoy being able to kind of come up with different characters in my head of who these people are or what their personalities are like. It's kind of like creating a different character who doesn't exist really.
Since sharing her portraits on social media, Fletcher's landed work for Hulu and Akron Metro, and now she's creating art full-time.
It jump-started with the monochromatic drawings. It was like, okay, I can do this. I can become a full-time artist, and that's where it began.
On a recent afternoon, Fletcher was working outside of her comfort zone on a larger piece featuring two women connected by a braid of hair.
My goal is just to do more drawings of that style, bigger color pencil drawings, and push myself on a bigger scale because I'm used to working small. I don't usually go beyond the 9x12 or like 11x14. So I'm trying to push myself to work at a bigger scale.
Fletcher seems to enjoy new challenges. Last summer, she opened her own gallery near the campus of the University of Akron for both teaching and displaying art. She says before opening the gallery, she struggled to get her art on view.
It was hard finding a space that would either accept you. I know a lot of different galleries they want you to have at least so many solo shows under your belt. And it's like, well, I'm trying to get one. And as of before opening the gallery, I only had one solo show.
Part of Fletcher's vision is to help others exhibit their work.
It shouldn't be that hard for artists to showcase their artwork. So that was a goal of mine. Like when I get a gallery, it's going to be so easy.
Fletcher's work as an artist has been a bright spot in what's been a tough time for people in general due to the pandemic. She says art provides her a break from all of that.
Things are starting to get worse before they're going to get better. So that's kind of, that can be tough to think about on a daily basis. So having an outlet like art to kind of escape that reality sometimes is amazing.
Browse Darren Fletcher's colorful portfolio of portraits and murals at her website, darrenfletcher.com. Now that you've seen Darren Fletcher's illustrations, how do you think being colorblind would affect an artist's perspective? Well, meet Eddie Mormon, a self-taught impressionistic painter in Louisiana who is colorblind, which doesn't mean his artwork is bland. Mormon uses palette knives and broad strokes to create paintings that have gotten him admirers from around the country. And as he gains greater recognition and achieves more success, Eddie Mormon manages to stay humble and never take anything for granted.
I learned how to paint from the dirt down here, from the ground, when I was 5 years old, in the beds, in the weeds, in the mud, in the clay. I would take flowers and make water with it and get all the juice of it and turn the color in a little bottle. When the clay we had with that red Alexander clay, it get hard for, you could make pottery with that kind of stuff. I paint on clay, paper, wood. 1969, I working at Piccadilly's. They had a little old woman. She was very godly. She had a good spirit, blonde hair, and she was the mother of Piccadilly's. She bought my first painting. I paint every day. I be inspired with what God tell me what to paint. The duck painting, that's gonna be a fundraiser. See, I'm an artist. When people tell me what they want, I give them what they want. They want a building, I'll do a building. Look at Chef John Folks. I worked 25 years on the waterfront. I just had to get up early in the morning. And early morning is the best time for me to see the moon, the star, the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the last quarter, and the stars. They inspire me like Van Gogh. All your master painters use. Big painting is museum painting like Rembrandt. I painted 80 by 60. Customized canvas made out of Houston, Texas. You gotta have lots of paint to cover that. I painted sunflowers. I painted Lake Charles Bridge. I painted Hawaii. And I got some more commission to paint that airport here in Lake Charles on 80 by 60. I make my own color. See, I use primary color. I don't go with all those off color. You make your color like you're cooking. I'm colorblind. I see shadows and shades. In French, I painted with a knife. My favorite part about painting here, it comes from your soul. It's a feel that you get. And when that feel you get within, it's just like singing. Nobody can stop you from express yourself. It's a spiritual thing, really. For anybody that do something from their soul, you cannot put a time on it. It comes from you. How long it take? You take like your musician like Marvin Gaye, all your the staple singer, all the ones Stevie Wonder, or R&B or a record. Well, you know what? It's a feel that you get. It's a feel. It's all about your feeling. You gotta feel it from your soul and from your heart and your mind. It better not be no few days. You starve and go broke. It's a very hard living to make. If artists don't go on the road and get exposure, the best thing for them to do is just say, well, I'm just doing it as a hobby. Oh, I go all over. I went to Colorado Springs, New York, Paris, France. Well, if it takes for me to get there, I'll be there. I'm living to see my fame. Praise the Lord.
To To see Eddie Mormon's portfolio, visit his website, eddiemormon.com. Thank you for watching The Arts Page. I'm Sandy Max. Please join us the first Thursday of every month for a half hour full of art on The Arts Page.